Predictably, I revisited the Agashira card after a few days, and I decided that I needed to make more changes. Nothing too drastic, but something felt a little bit off typographically. The typeface I used is called Executive. The Wire magazine used to use it back in the day, and I was obsessed with it. I loved this typeface. Maybe I love it a little bit too much. I admit I've probably tried to shoehorn it in a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's entirely inappropriate, but for this, and kind of given the precedent that we've set about this card being a sort of snapshot of field notes, I felt like something else might potentially gel a little more harmoniously. Plus there's that whole aspect of the 1-bit pixel art and that blocky font that I use for thumbnails, etc., that is kind of missing at the moment. So, this is where lore can, again, give us a helping hand. I spoke about those field operatives in the Agashira video, the artist-scientist duos that venture out in an attempt to record and document the Kaiju. So let's drill down on that a little more. Out beyond the humans' fortified, semi-stable underground facilities lie vast, unpredictable frontiers. It's in these zones that the field observation units operate. They are small, highly specialised two-person units assigned to observe and report on Kaiju. Whatever data they can collect is invaluable. Every line drawn and every note that is taken helps piece together the mysteries of these creatures. The data they gather is critical, not just for science, but for survival. Teams are referred to as Kajin, Kaiju Analysis and Joint Intelligence Network. Each team comprises two key individuals. The field biologist is responsible for tracking physiology, behaviour and environmental impact. The field artist visually documents the Kaiju through sketches, notes and observational studies. To complete their work, teams rely on a blend of analogue and emergent biotech. The field biologist will use what is known as a CAST device, Kaiju Analysis and Surveillance Terminal. CAST allows for fast shorthand data entry, similar to stenographs used in courts. This allows the fingers to quickly flit over a limited amount of keys to input data incredibly fast. It is second nature to most operatives, and even off-duty, a field biologist can be identified by their involuntary hand twitches, as if they continue to input data into a phantom console. The device is fitted with a thermal printing component, allowing for physical printouts whilst in the field. As the Kaiju is observed, the scientist inputs real-time observations and prints physical labels and stat sheets which are collated along with the artist's sketches into a physical field book, the official record of the unit on patrol. Upon return to the central hub, the data is transcribed back into the larger mycelial network. CAST is one of the only reliable ways that have been approved for quick and efficient data collection during live encounters. The shorthand data entry allows for ultra-fast input, and due to its analog-mechanical hybrid design, CAST is immune to many of the electromagnetic pulses or biointerference fields emitted by active Kaiju. Meanwhile, the field artists are equipped with their own tech, namely the Myco Cap. The Myco Cap is worn around the neck and upper chest. It resembles an upturned mushroom cap. A spore tank mounted on the operator's back can be activated to release microdoses of psychoactive spores into the cap, which then concentrates and funnels the spore cloud into the user's airways, giving them a confusing, almost euphoric, but fleeting experience. The semi-hallucinogenic experience is like a relay device that grants brief, hazy access to the mycelial data web known as the myconet. Cryptic, impressionistic visions or flashes of annotated memories. There is never clarity, just a perception. The connection only lasts minutes before the spores degrade or are metabolized. But this is useful for things like map overlays, local Kaiju movement patterns, or for accessing archived data on known species. Users of the Myco Cap often describe a dreamlike state, The experience is referred to by field artists as being haunted. Nobody knows why, but the field artists are usually able to interface with the Mica cap most successfully. It's believed that this has something to do with the brain function of artists. Their creativity, visual recognition and interpretation skills help to decipher and translate the hazy, impressionistic transmissions. As such, it's not entirely reliable, but usually when used by a trained operator, it can be fairly accurate. The Kajin walk a surreal path. They are reclusive, hallucinating survivalists, committed to documenting the colossal inhabitants of this new world. So it kind of makes sense for the text on the cards to be representative of one of these thermal printouts from the cast machine. I actually have a little thermal printer that I picked up a few years ago for my kids. It's a really cool little device, really great for just churning out images for the kids to colour in, or little notes to hide in my wife's iPad. It's pretty rough quality, and the resolution is not very good, and there's no colour in there or anything. But I was kind of intrigued as to what typography might look like when scanned back in from the thermal printout. So I mocked up a few typographic examples, very basic at the moment, but good enough to work as a test. I should probably add more detail eventually. I'll add that to the to-do list, the ongoing to-do list. But yeah, I then printed all these out, assessed them, and I could see some really nice little artifacts and degradation on the type, which looked really gritty. And when I scanned it in and played with the levels, and zoomed in on that, it became even more apparent that this was, creating some really nice textures. What I should do really is vectorize this and make this into an actual typeface. Again, I'll add that to my to-do list, I guess. It would be great to have this as a font so I could actually use it to type out. But for now, I think maybe scanning it in is the way to go. I think it works pretty well with that 1-bit font that I've been using throughout the project. In fact, it gave me a little... When I saw it, when I'd scanned it in, it gave me a little shudder. Kind of a little arty shiver, just because you just know it's right. That's the one. No? Just me?
What are you talking about?
Anyway, on this one, I realised I hadn't included the Kaiju name, which is probably quite important. So I printed and scanned another. I colorised it blue to fit with the origin type, and added it to the card. And I think what we end up with here is way more suited to the Kajin field report. Like I said, I think it could do with a little bit more detail, designing up a little more officially, like giving it some extra info, like maybe the Kajin team name, a date, some coordinates, etc. Just some extra typographic colour and detail. Maybe some kind of like official logo or something for the Kajin, but still, it's an improvement, I reckon. So let me know what you think.